Have you ever sat down to produce a song in Logic and thought, I honestly don't know what I'm supposed to do first. Am I supposed to record something or sing something? If you feel unsure of where to start, it can just be deflating and frustrating. But in this video, I'm going to lay out a very simple production method that you can recycle every time you want to produce something. Imagine being able to produce your songs confidently without second guessing every step. This approach has helped countless of my students streamline their production workflows, and it's a method I really wish I had when I first started. To prove it to you, I'll be producing a song in this video from start to finish. So if you are serious about learning this method, download the free production template in the description so you can work alongside me. And by the end of the video, you're gonna have the tools you can use to produce many songs. But before we roll up our sleeves and actually get into the weeds of the production, let's look at the production method from a high level. There are 5 boxes of production that you need to become familiar with. These 5 boxes make up the entire soundscape of our song. They are drums, bass, mid-range, vocals, and effects. Almost all songs on earth can be placed within these buckets, more or less, especially in modern music. The goal of these 5 boxes is to simplify the production process when you're looking for sounds. Now let's keep these boxes in mind here and have a quick listen to a demo of a song that we'll be producing in this video. This is a song I recently wrote with multi-platinum singer-songwriter Adam Wendler. And this production method I'm about to show you works really well if you already have a song written. So download the Logic template in the description and then pop in your song demo and we'll start from there. Now let me play you just a small snippet so you have the context of what this demo is and how we'll be building it up.
I don't play for second place, I keep it honest half the time. I traded whiskey for a bottle of red wine.
So before we build out these boxes, there are 2 very important questions that we need to ask ourselves. The first question is, what do you want the song to sound like? And the second question is there any song that you are inspired by that you want to sound similar to? So let's take my demo here and start answering these questions. Do the same thing with your demo now, pause the video if you have to, and keep in mind these 5 boxes. If you don't know what to say, just try using some actual English words to explain your thoughts. You gotta let your imagination run here because there's no wrong answers. So for me, number 1, what do I want my song to sound like? I want this song to have a live feel to it. I want it to feel like you're in a room or at a party with a band playing it. The instruments should feel real and loose. It shouldn't be too big, but more of a smaller live feel band song. It should still get people moving and dancing though. I'd love people to sway and hum along to it in the chorus. Now, is there a song that I'm inspired by that might sound similar? Yeah, I would say some indie folk or country pop folk songs. Some artists like Dasha or Henrik come to mind. Okay, so for that first question, let's highlight and pick out a couple keywords that we can remember later on. Live feel, party, band, moving, dancing, sing along. I know this might seem a bit trivial now, but these words will come in handy later on. And it's also really important to remember here that you don't need all the boxes in every song. They're only there to help you compartmentalize sounds. That's it. Blackbird, one of the greatest songs of all time, only uses 2 boxes. You don't need a lot to be great. So go ahead and answer those questions for your own song demo, and then let's meet back here. Whenever you feel stuck or you don't know what to say or you're not sure what sounds you might want in your song, just play the song that you want to sound like or similar to and pick out some sounds from their songs. In my case, for my song, I'm actually going to be using all 5 boxes. So now that we have those 2 questions answered, let's go through each box now and produce the song up. Box number 1, drums. So because I want this song to be a live feel, sing-along type song, I think a 4 on the floor kick with a clap sound is just going to fit right. So let me go and find a kick and clap sound. In Logic, specifically when it comes to drums, you can use like the yellow drummer tracks or software drummer tracks too. In my case, I'm going to program a kick and clap pattern using the Roots Plus software drum kit. Now, because of that live band party feel that I'm trying to create, I'm going to supplement these sounds by adding a stomp sound, a shuffle loop, and then a clap loop. Something that sounds like this. If you're wondering, I didn't create these sounds. I found these sounds on Splice. It's a sound library that you can use royalty-free sounds. And I just found these sounds by searching them in the search bar here. Now, to give the drums a bit more punch, here's what I'd recommend you do on your drum bus. Add some compression and distortion. These two plugins are going to glue your drum set together and just add some punch and grit to it. So once you find your drum sound and you have that vibe, you need to develop that track throughout the song. For instance, should the drums start right away? Should they build or cut out in certain sections? In my case, I want the song to start just with the kick drum to give it a sense of rhythm and so that people can stomp to it as well. And then in the chorus, I want all the drums to come in. In verse 2, I'll slim the drums down again and then build them back up. I'm also going to cut out the drums before each chorus to give that dynamic change like this. So that's box 1. Again, there are no rules to how you go about creating each box. This is where your creativity is going to come into play. I could have started with a yellow drummer track in Logic. I also could have used the step sequencer or even recorded my own stomps too. Let's move on to box 2. Bass is super fundamental to any song to give it warmth and groove. So it's really important that you do spend the time finding the right bass sound for your song. If you don't know where to start, go back to that list of words you created or have a listen to the reference track that sounds similar to yours. Maybe you might have said like dark bass or growly bass or mean bass or smooth bass. These words are going to help you find a path to discover the bass sound that works well in your song. In my case, I'm falling back on that live feel vibe that I want, so I'd really like to record a real bass. Something like this. Now this bass was just recorded directly into the audio interface, but I did a couple things in Logic here to make it sound a bit more girthy and gritty. I've added some saturation, but I've also sent the track to 2 aux tracks, one with more distortion on it and one with actually some reverb on it. And then I've blended everything together to make it sound like this. We also need to ask ourselves here, how is the bass going to work with the drums? And what should that dynamic be in the song? For instance, I'd prefer the bass to start in verse 1, but only play whole notes. Then in the chorus, the notes can get busier, something like this. And for your song, you don't have to record real bass too, but sometimes the song or the production does call for it. If you prefer to use synth bass, that's totally a great option. You can look in the Logic library, or Trillion is a sound library that I use regularly. It has great real bass sounds and synth bass sounds. Let's move on to box number 3, mid-range. You can think of the mid-range as everything but drums, vocals, and bass. It's a big box. Popular mid-range instruments that you would definitely hear often are like guitar, piano, strings, and synthesizers. I know for our song that since we wrote it on the guitar, that the guitar would be a big part of the production, so let's start with that. I actually recorded these 2 guitars with my iPhone mic during the songwriting session, and I was really happy with the vibe, so I actually just decided to keep them in the production. So yeah, there is a lot of noise in these recordings, and maybe they're not the perfect recordings, but I really liked how they sounded in the context of the mix, because it sounds like I'm in the room with the guitar player, and that's the mood that I wanted to capture. That's the goal of your job as a producer, to make the listener feel something. It really doesn't matter if you're using something expensive or if you're using something cheap. If you're getting across a feeling, then that's what you want. So besides the guitar, I didn't think piano, synth, or strings were needed, but I was thinking like, well, what other instruments could we have in the song here that gives that sing-along party feel? Answer, the harmonica. So in this post-chorus section, we have some harmonica, and eventually we add slide guitar and electric guitar as well as the song develops. They sound like this. So with all our boxes, we have box 1, drums, box 2, bass, and then box 3, guitars and harmonica. Now, we have 2 more boxes still missing here, and the next box is by far the most important in my production, likely for yours too, so spend the time on getting this one right. Box 4 is vocals. So the most important piece in this box for me is the lead vocal. And sometimes that's all your production needs, just one lead vocal. But in my case, I know I was going to have a lot of vocals. So the next vocals I wanted to record were vocal doubles on the chorus section. Vocal doubles can really help your chorus pop and make it sound wider too. The next vocal part besides this would be harmonies. Harmonies help make the chorus pop even more and make it more wide, but it also helps giving a new dimension of chordal information. And because we wanted to have this live song feel, we added multiple tracks of group vocals like this. Now to organize and prioritize these vocals in Logic, I used summing stacks to group the harmonies and doubles together. Now I can adjust and volume balance each track to build some type of volume hierarchy, starting with the lead vocal and then building the rest of the tracks around it. Besides this, there is a bridge section in the song that has a party sing-along type feel, which is a collection of tracks of group vocals that add an interesting space and character to the song. They sound like this. So with all the vocal tracks together, we have this.
'Cause I fell in love with the wrong damn person. I'll take half the blame.
Now let's move on to box 5, effects. For this song, I didn't think it needed to have a lot of effects, to be honest, other than a few things that help with transitions, like this reverse guitar here.
Dirty secret games.
I didn't think overloading the production with like a lot of reverb effects or delay was going to add value to it to where I actually wanted to take it, right? But every production is different, and with your song, you might really need a lot of effects to carry that message across to the listener. Compartmentalizing your production like this into these buckets is just going to help you simplify your production process so you understand what you need. But did you notice I really didn't get into plugins? It's just, that's a completely different world, but you need to get that right to have that final polish to your production. It's why you need to watch this video right here, and I'll show you the ultimate Logic Pro plugin hacks that took me years to master. Seriously, if you give me 9 minutes, it's going to take years off your learning.